How's it going, guys? It's your boy back again with another video. So this video is going to be a little different. This video is going to be podcast style. Some of my really close friends put together a podcast and it's actually great. You actually go listen to them. The link is down in the description below. It's called Go Flex Yourself and they're on all major platforms. So basically we're just going to eat spicy wings and talk shit. So sit back, relax, throw this on while you're doing some homework, throw it on in the back. It's a little long, but it's worth it. Alright, you know what it is. Hope you enjoy. And if you do, don't forget to drop that like, hit that subscribe button, and go show some support, baby. All right, let's get right to it.
Yo, Ruben, can you raise your arms? Raise your arms again, Ruben. I'm sorry, can you raise your hand again, Ruben? I just want to make sure you're in the frame. I can't see because of the box. Yo, Ruben, put your hand up your ass. Yeah, just a quick sync for the video and the... Damn, nigga.
Count down just for the start. So 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Go Flex Yourself podcast. This is the episode that no one's been waiting for, where we finally indulge ourselves in the Hot Ones, our version of the Hot Ones show. Let's get into it. So we have our first guest again, Ruben.
The 2P.
Yeah, the 2P. And without further ado...
Yo, who am I?
Oh, you're who are you?
Yo.
Yeah, I mean, your guest, Felix.
You're the guest?
Yikes.
I'm the host. Start.
I'm the host.
Co-host Alfredo.
And our guest,
2P. I'm gonna be the guest every time.
Ruben. Getting right into it, let's start with our first wing.
Oh, we're getting right into it?
Yeah, we're getting right into it.
So the first one's just Frank's.
Frank's
You
right
literally
now.
buy this anywhere. I use it all the time, literally.
Frank's, a little bit about Frank's, it's known as the original kind of buffalo hot wing sauce, the more traditional one created in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, this nigga did his
I
research.
didn't know that.
Yeah. For those of you interested, the Scoville, it's about 450, so it's a very light heat. Wanted to start off very light, and yeah.
Speaking of Scoville, I honestly don't know how to gauge that at all.
Yourself, you don't gauge it. You just go by what the people that mess with hot sauces gauge it.
Like, I don't know what 450 feels like, is what I'm saying.
It's mild. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Once it starts getting to like 10,000s, that's when you're gonna be like, oh shit.
So I'm gonna start and get a drumette. Put that
Do
on
you
my
want a
plate.
wing or a drum?
I'll take whatever you don't want.
That's a flat.
I want a flat.
On a flat, there you go.
Are you a flat or a drum type of guy?
Definitely flat.
You?
I'm a drum.
I'm a flat type of guy.
Ah, you should have told me.
Nah, I mean, there's more wings to come.
You're a bitch.
Alright, so here we go.
Alright.
The wings are a little cold because it took a while to set up, but they're still good.
Still tastes fire, though.
Facts. The wings are really good. I use this sauce literally all the time. I have
Oh,
a big ass pot in my house.
you still have some crisp on it.
Mm-hmm.
I made these earlier today. I like my wings to be crispy. And add the sauce.
Honestly?
The sauce itself makes it a little not crispy, but they still hold up.
This sauce is good.
That sauce is better than Buffalo's. Like the Buffalo sauce you get at restaurants.
Mm-hmm. That sauce is actually really good. It's,
I like it.
it's good. It's a tasty, very easy
The cayenne pepper. It's really good.
heat. You know, it's not overpowering, so
And it has a good flavor.
yeah, it's good flavor. So what have you guys been up to in the past week or so?
This is fire.
Facts. This is really good. What the fuck have I been up to? I've just been going to work, dog.
Grinding to that LA move, bro.
This guy at work finally came back. He was out for like a month. Nobody knew why.
He just didn't show up one day.
Nobody really likes him, so we were all having a vacation. But he wanted to show up on a Friday to make sure that we had a bad weekend. So
This is that guy you were talking about?
Yeah, the guy who showed up drunk.
That's a force, man. That's crazy. What about you?
Chilling, just working. I Had to buy a bathtub for the house.
Did you have to buy just the tub or like the whole that setup that comes kind of over
like
the
the
wall?
wall and the tub.
Those are big to base in.
The exhaust fan.
Did you sit inside it?
No, it's not. It's for the third floor of the other house.
That's a bitch to transport and a bitch to like place once.
Oh, I'm sure. To install and put all the caulking on it. And yeah, that's another thing. Putting the caulking on it. Watch out with that if you're doing that shit yourself.
My grandfather was doing the installing.
I was gonna say, let that shit dry. Because we did that shit at our house, we didn't let it dry, and there was mad water fucking everywhere, like on the first floor.
Yeah, you can't fuck around with talking. Besides that,
Let's go to the next shitty sauce.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Tabasco.
The next sauce is the Tabasco sauce. This sauce actually gets used for buffalo sauce, for buffalo wings as well, but it tends to be used in the south more than in the northeast. In the south they like it because it has more of a kick than the Frank's Red Hot. The level of Scoville on Tabasco is 7. The base one, the original one, is 700. So it has a little bit more of a kick than Frank's, but I personally don't think that it'll be much of a difference. Let's get right into that.
When I bite these, like they make the back of my ear tingle. I don't know. I'll take a drum this time.
you can do the flat if you want.
Fuck.
I'm gonna do the flat on the next one. That's why. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna do. Oh, there's 2 flats on the next one.
So here we go. Let's see how this goes.
Felix, what are you up to? You can say what you're up to.
Honestly, I just finished fully moving in. Just got
Congrats.
got my clothes all organized, my room, my mattress in. So finally get to relax. That I'm playing Call of Duty and some other extracurricular activities.
Meaning, you know.
No Fat November still going on. Damn, I think I have a hair on this.
Are you guys doing no fat November?
No.
I filled that shit on day 3.
I'm pretty sure I did no fat October and didn't notice.
Just a heads up, we gotta clean all these wings. Like, don't leave meat on
Oh,
them.
you mean like this?
Yeah. It's gonna be tough on this one.
Where do you see me? Cartilage is
Nah, the cartilage is gross, but the meat,
Yeah.
great meat.
Alright, honestly, I can't really judge it. I feel a slight more heat, but
It definitely feels like 700.
personally, the flavor of it, Frank's definitely has a beat.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be a little bit more spicy than Frank's, then use Tabasco. Frank's also has different versions for buffalo wings.
Tabasco? Sorry.
They have a buffalo sauce that's less spicy than the original.
They want the wrong hole.
No consent.
No lube, nothing.
Tabasco was kind of weird.
I don't like that one.
Not that it was bad. I'd eat it again. It's definitely a big difference from this though. This didn't feel spicy at all.
I personally use
This has like a lingering.
I would personally use Tabasco like if I'm eating a burrito, I'll like put a drop or 2 in it because I personally like it. But I wouldn't use it to like flavor something.
Yeah, it's good for like a side.
Like when you just want heat,
you know. That's exactly what it's for. Have you guys ever had the green one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've had the green.
I like the green one a little bit better.
You like the Chipotle version of it too.
The Chipotle one is fire.
It's spicy, but it actually has
I
flavor.
haven't had the Chipotle one.
It's like very garlicky and peppery. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So last week, or I shouldn't say last week, last episode you were on, we briefly touched on some projects that you're working on now. Can you tell the viewers what led you to go through with these projects and why? Like what made you want to pursue these projects rather than, you know, like work a 9 to 5 and then like just live life like that?
So by the projects, I assume you mean real estate and,
Yeah.
and YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, so real estate is kind of, as I got older, I kind of realized that working sucks. And life isn't like college, unfortunately.
That's a fact.
Sadly. So, I don't know, I just never really liked working in general. I mean, I worked when I had to, you know, but I feel like I shouldn't need to work to live an enjoyable life. So real estate is just an avenue to generate passive income.
And when
with
you
that
say
passive income,
when you say work, you don't like to work. Is it just like work in general, or work for someone else?
no, I do like I want to believe I'm not a workaholic, but if I'm not doing something, then I feel like I'm wasting my life away.
Yeah.
So I do like working, but working for things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't want to work for, not necessarily not that I don't enjoy the company I work for. I actually do find motivation when I'm at my desk, and like on Friday I was very motivated and I stayed there till 6, and I actually enjoyed what I was doing. But it's like at the end of the day, it's not my company, it's not like something I'm working towards.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna own that company. Maybe one day I will, but it's very slim, you know.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot of good skills, which is what motivates me and stuff like that. You know, I'm learning a lot, but
That's good.
that's what I mean by work. Like I don't want to be a bum and just lay down and watch TV all day.
Facts.
Or a parasite, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
A virus or some shit.
I finished reading this book called
I
Rising
was actually
Grind.
gonna move on to you next.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. I was finished reading this book called Rising Grind by Damon John, the Shark Tank guy, the only black guy there. And at the end of the book, he was like, "You gotta find your flow." And I'm like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?" And he's like, "When you work and you forget that you're working, and you're just like pumping shit out, like just typing shit out, like listening to music, typing an essay, and you just like forget about the clock. That's your prime time right there. And learning how to get into that space is very advantageous, because working consciously kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So if you can work unconsciously and just let shit flow out, that's just
You know what you should read? You should read the book Finding Flow. It's literally about that, finding flow.
who wrote it.
I've right here my Audible. Yo, this isn't sponsored by Audible, but if you want to sponsor
Facts.
Audible, get in here. But it's literally about that, finding a way how to control your motivation and your work ethic and all that stuff. It is called Finding Flow by Miala. You can say that last name.
The name is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi.
Bless you.
But it's that book
That's
is
a tough
really,
one.
really good. Really, really good. It'll put you more on the mindset of getting to that point, like you said. It's subconsciously. That's the goal. You want to, obviously at first you need to do it consciously, but it gets to the point where now I go to my room and instead of sitting there and be like, damn, let me play a game of League before I do anything. It's just like, I can't even play League. Like, I have to do what I need to do before I decide to actually want
Use
to
that as a reward, right?
enjoy it, you know? Yeah.
That's a fact. What's the next one here?
The next wing?
Yeah.
So the next wing, we actually had our very own Alfred go to a store called the Pepper Palace.
Shout out to Scott, by the way. That homeboy hooked it up.
We'll have videos on Alfred's journey on the channel at some point. This hot sauce is called Pineapple Serrano hot sauce. So it's as the name says, it's pineapple based with a Serrano pepper. We couldn't really find a specific Scoville level, but after doing some research, Serrano-based hot sauces can range between 5,000 and 19,000 Scoville units.
So it's either gonna be nothing or we're gonna be destroyed.
Yeah, this is
Well, actually, no, I lied, that's 5,000.
this is a big jump up from the Tabasco sauce, but this one is one that should also have flavor in it. So
This has pineapple, so I'm excited.
yeah,
And it doesn't smell bad.
yeah,
Doesn't
doesn't
smell
have
bad.
that strong scent. So
Alright.
I'll take the drum, obviously.
This one's gonna be fat.
Damn, you got the side one. You want this one?
No, I'll take this shit like this.
This one reminds me of sweet chili.
Yeah.
Just 'cause it
Yeah,
has
it
that
does. I think that's why I'm excited for it.
I like it. I like the sweet chili one at least.
Alright, let's
Sweet
go.
chili is.
I personally
Sweet
also
chili sauce
like
is so good.
sweet and spicy hot sauces. Like who is it? Popeyes.
Yes.
Popeyes
Sweet heat.
that has
That's just
sweet
so
heat.
good.
Oh yeah, sweet heat. I know exactly what you're talking about.
on the next one, whoever has the flat, would y'all want to demonstrate the
I just tried doing that right
the
now.
way that you guys eat the flats? Because there's always people always argue about what's the best way.
Yeah, I can bless people if they want.
I personally just eat drums more because it's easier to eat. It's less finicking with the wing itself, but I don't care. You give me a bowl of wings and have flats and drums, I will devour that shit.
Fine.
So this one's. Oh, hold up.
Yeah, I'm giving it a little to see if it's a late bloomer or not. But this one tastes good.
It tastes really good.
It's definitely sweet. It has that
It does taste really good.
sweetness to it.
I think the sweetness kind of kills a little bit of the
Of
the spice on there.
This is not 5,000 Scoville.
Oh,
It's good though.
We're still getting there. Don't get too excited about wanting more Scoville.
So recently I've just been going over my own like expenses with you, Ruben, as you saw. And a lot of times when I start to plan shit out, like, so I've been thinking about maybe trading in my car and shit like that, just to try to reduce my expenses, and I get caught in analysis paralysis. How do you personally stop yourself from getting in that cycle? Because you will literally just go over and over the numbers a million times and never do anything.
Yeah, so that happens to me a lot. But honestly, it's pretty. I like to believe that like hard decisions in life are pretty simple. It's pretty yes and no with stuff like that. It's in terms of simple. Just because something's simple doesn't mean it's not hard. But you at a certain point you just have to do it. Like you just have to go and trade in your car. Like I randomly decided to just flip cars one day. Literally just woke up in the group chat and I was like, yo, I'm gonna start flipping cars. And I was like, maybe I'll make a couple bucks on it. It turns out the first one I made $1,000, which was nice. Second one I made $0, but I used the car for like 4 months.
So you broke even.
So I broke even and I got some miles off it, so it wasn't bad.
Yo, this one's making my lips tingle.
You should explain the reason why you got a couple miles off of it. Or like how? Like what led to it?
Oh, this woman actually wanted to buy it at the perfect price. Not the perfect price. I was trying to set it for. I bought a car for $3,000. It was worth like $5,500. And literally the first week that I posted it, a woman wanted to buy it for $4,200. And I was like, nah, the car's worth too much. No one else gave me an offer after that.
Yikes.
Not one person gave me an offer. Well, they gave me offers for like $2,000. I'm like, yeah, I'm tripping. I
Did you hit that woman back up?
I did hit her back up and she ignored me.
She was like, fuck you.
You, with registering, you meant to register your Hyundai, didn't you?
Oh my god, that was a huge mess. I was like driving. I had two cars at the time, the Honda and the Honda. And I had both of them insured, because in Massachusetts when you buy a car you have to insure it, get license plates for it, and then you can take it off. And I unregistered my Honda, or at least I thought I did. And I was just driving on the highway and I get pulled over by a cop and he's like, why isn't this car registered? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, these license plates got canceled. And I was like, I canceled the wrong license plate. And then I explained it to the cop. Yo, he looked at me like,
You're an idiot.
He looked at me like if it was a fake story. I was like, yeah, I just bought a car. I literally explained the whole thing to him. And he's like, this kid is either lying or telling the truth.
Did you have the license plate number to the other one?
No, but it had my name and everything.
Oh, okay. Alright, so he was able to see that.
He took like 20 minutes in the car doing all the research, and he's like, yeah, so everything you said was true. And he's like, all I'm gonna do is just make sure you go home now and just use the other car. And I'm like, yeah, I'm heading home now anyways.
Yikes.
That was a funny.
But
I didn't know that.
yeah, but for like the analysis paralysis, you gotta just do it. But the most important thing, because doing it you're gonna fail a lot. It's just how it is. Like everything will go wrong before it goes right.
Thanks.
And that's kind of like the process that my early 20s was. It's just doing everything that I wanted to do, doing it wrong, quitting, going back, back, doing it again, doing it wrong, you know.
Overall, you gained a lot of knowledge too. So
I mean, I wish I wouldn't change anything, you know. Maybe I would have sold Bitcoin at the right time, but that's a different story.
You're still holding on strong.
side note, so obviously we have water here with ice, and in the mugs we have milk just for emergencies. Once we get onto these last wings.
But yeah, dude, you gotta just do it. You're young enough where making mistakes isn't that big of a deal, and
You still have a lot of
you
time
have a
to
lot of
recover.
backup. That's what I try to think. When I moved to Texas, yeah, we didn't know anyone there, but if worst comes to worst, I come back home, and I'm exactly where I ended off.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Worst comes to, if you go to LA, worst comes to worst, you tell your mom you're coming back. I literally called my mom one day. I was in the hotel, laying down, looking up on the ceiling, like, I can't do this anymore. And I
Are you in Texas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, and I'm very lucky too, very fortunate to have the parents that I have. They're very supportive of the things I do. And I was like, Ma, I don't want to work anymore. And she's like, oh, okay, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to stream. And she's like, I don't even know what that is, but if you want to do it, I'll support you. And I'm like, went home, streamed, was depressed for like 6 months. But fuck it, I learned from it, you know?
He had a solid
Yeah, a solid fan base.
for like how new and
You know, you were a league.
fresh we started.
Yeah,
I feel like you had a solid growth.
I fucked up because even though I was doing something good, I didn't know I was doing something good. I didn't know how to realize something good was happening.
Yeah.
Like, if I had the same mentality I have now, I'd stop doing real estate because I was like, well, this house isn't profitable.
Yeah.
But it's the long run you have to think of.
Yeah, a lot of it too is I feel like when you were streaming, you kind of like felt like you had to be a certain type of way, essentially not be yourself,
Facts.
right?
Yeah.
And that I personally, for how long I've known you, I personally could see it, and I would, I would say it here and there, like, you just gotta not give a fuck.
It's true.
You wanna swear?
It's
Fucking
true.
swear.
It's true.
Give a fuck.
It's-
Fuck. Like,
Fucking cute.
I like that.
he always kept himself, if you remember, he always kept himself trying to, like, guys don't swear, or like this and that, whenever we, like, argue and stuff, but
Yeah.
at the end
It's
of the day,
true.
that's what people wanna see, is, like, your personality, and if you change that, it comes across, you know, so.
Gary Vaynerchuk does a good job at that, where he's just always just like, fuck it, if it's just me, it's me.
Yeah,
You know?
he's always doing these
Literally
professional,
swearing.
That's Gary Vee.
public
Yeah.
speaker, and there's kids and shit in there, but
He'll be like,
there's no stopping him, and that's who he is. There's
Yeah,
a reason
he's good
why
at
they're watching him
Yeah.
and there to see him speak.
Everybody knows there's no bullshit with him.
He is himself, yeah, he's no bullshit. He'll tell you how it is right there, like what you gotta do. Recently I saw a video that he posted where this kid was talking about, do you think school, in other words, college and all that, is my way to go if I wanna be an entrepreneur? And he's like, no, it's not. If you really feel like you are an entrepreneur, do that. That's not to say that entrepreneurs for everybody, because it's clearly not. Real entrepreneurship is a lot harder than school can be. So if you have that in you, then that's what you should
facts.
focus on,
It's actually fast.
Because in today's society, we have a lot of focus on going to school. That's where you're gonna make it, but you end up being 50K in debt.
Facts.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out, and then sometimes,
Yeah. School has its place.
yeah.
Society, the government really trying to push for school to be everything, but it's not. School is, if you know you want to be a doctor or an engineer or a nurse, you go to school.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what you want to do, either go to school and don't take a lot of debt,
Community
do
college,
something,
that
yeah.
shit, yeah.
Or don't go to school and do something else. If you're more artistic, you can go to art school, but don't take 100K to get an art degree. You know? School has its place, basically.
Facts.
Let's move on to this next hot sauce. This one's from the same place, Pepper Palace, and it's called Doc Habanero.
So when I asked Scott for this one, I'm like, just give me a sauce that you wish you could try again for the first time because it was so good. And he picked this one out without hesitation.
When I made it,
Damn, I'm excited for this one now.
when I made it and I was making it, I actually got really excited for it because it has a very tasty smell. So I'm excited to taste it. Habanero sauces
Oh my god.
Looking at it, yeah, it has cayenne and habanero. Habaneros range from 200,000 to 350,000 Scoville heat units. So we're in for quite a kick if it is in that range.
Just a disclaimer. The Scoville heat units aren't on these, and they didn't test them, I don't think, at Pepper Palace. He was saying just because sometimes those numbers can be skewed, like that's a big range in and of itself. It depends on the pepper itself. So
And how
one
much-
bottle might be 300,000, another bottle might be only 250,000.
Yeah, and it's also dependent on how much the pepper is actually used within the hot sauce.
Right, the concentration. Of
Yeah,
it.
concentration.
But that being said, this shit
You
looks
can
like
have,
it'd
you
be
can have a
fire.
flat, Alfred. I'll take the drum.
I took the drum.
Okay, finish you with the
Wow.
flat.
I guess it's my turn. Don't worry about the last one. The last one is all
It
flats.
smells really good.
I told you, bro. This shit is fire.
This actually smells really
Smells
good. It
like
has like a
garlicky,
smoky,
yeah.
garlicky. Mmm. Yeah. Mhm. That tastes really good.
Mm. That's tasty.
It's a fact.
It's actually tasty. Honestly?
I think this was a more taste one as opposed to heat one.
Yeah.
But I think all the heat we're gonna get in the last one.
I can feel it, but like, not by much, honestly. And maybe I didn't put enough, but it tastes good though, that's for sure.
I can feel it. It's a slow build a little bit, but not crazy. These are all tasty as fuck. Except
That's-
Tabasco, fuck Tabasco.
The best tasting one so far.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah, it'd be either between that one or the pineapple
For real?
sorrel.
I was a big fan of this one.
I like
I
that.
don't know what it was. I don't know what it was about the
That's a good one.
pineapple.
That's what I used to make.
It was like simple and just really good.
my buffalo chicken dip. I always use that
Oh,
one.
use that?
Yeah, that shit's key.
One
So-
thing. Oh, no,
No,
you
go
go
for it.
first. Sorry. I was gonna say one thing that I guess this is like hell off topic, but
This whole channel, this
one
whole
thing I noticed.
episode is all about off-topic shit
Facts.
and on-topic shit. So who cares?
Yeah, true. One thing I noticed about
Lucky there.
one thing I noticed that
Every time he's gonna speak, he takes another sip.
it's kind of hard to.
So
it's
one
kinda-
time,
It's kicking in.
Nah, actually, I don't think these two were. I think the spiciest one so far was the Tabasco.
I'd agree.
One thing that's hard, it's still hard. It's no matter how, well, not, no matter how hard I try, but I haven't been trying for a long time, but it's still hard to be yourself, just not with your friend group. Cause when I'm on this podcast, say someone who doesn't know me at all, they probably think of me as a more serious person.
Yeah.
Also my YouTube channel. And well, maybe not my stream, because my stream was a little different, but
Yeah.
my YouTube channel and this, people probably think that I'm a serious person, got all my ducks aligned. But I'm honestly like I purposely try and be very stupid and silly. It's like kind of how my comedy is, and it's just so hard to be like that in front of people that I don't know or by myself. You know, I like to think that I'm like an amplifier. I can lead some jokes, but I'm better at amplifying
Making them
the
better.
scenario. So it's just hard to put myself in environments like that, you know?
You'll
I
be
think-
surprised how. Sorry, I cut you off, but I'm not stopping.
Go for it.
You'll be surprised. So like, if there's people and like you wanna be friendly, literally just smile, and it'll open up a whole fucking door. Like there's this homeless guy when I was getting the hot sauces, and he was just like hella serious, like glancing at people, and I just smiled at him, and he just smiled back, and then we were Gucci. He's my boy now.
I can relate to that, but I can also like see the other side because I tend to be very like funny in terms of just making you smile and laugh with like very stupid jokes and like humor, but I do that to kind of like lift up the room. But yeah, it depends on the people themselves. If they're generally a grumpy person that just hates life, good luck trying to crack a smile from them. But you know, most of the time you won't run into people like that. But it all depends kind of like on them as well. If they understand that what you're saying is a joke, then it's gonna be funny. You know? Some people just take that shit up the ass, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's more about like being like me knowing that I'm being myself.
Yeah. And
it's just hard. Just that point I wanted to make.
Yeah.
Because every time I go into a conversation with somebody, that shit always gets into something serious. If it's not something like it's not a close friend.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't like that.
I always just try to make some sort of a joke, like a pun or like a
puns,
smile or
puns
something
are big.
like that. And
Puns are big.
usually they'll start getting that vibe, and then they'll bounce that same energy back onto you, and then it's not awkward anymore.
It's a lot of growth, and with that topic mentioned, I kind of want to ask you something, and I don't want you, without getting too personal. You know, you're in a relationship now.
Mm-hmm.
Does she enjoy your dates?
That's one of the ongoing problems.
So without getting too personal again, what are some things you've learned from past as well as, you know, your present relationship? It could be general lessons, or, you know, things you've learned about yourself, or things you've learned about other people in general. So
I guess so. A bit of backstory. I've had a decent amount of relationships, some longer than others. Maybe like probably have like 4 girlfriends now. Like three serious relationships, and then the rest kind of don't really count.
again, out here getting buns, and he's saying you don't get.
No, like I've been in 3 serious relationships.
No, yeah.
And I guess without going
You want to take that hand out of your mouth?
without going too in depth, and I actually realized this year, and which is why I felt like I was ready to get into another relationship, kind of like end of last year, beginning of this year, this is very general. This is very general, but if you don't, the only way you can be happy with somebody else is if you're happy with yourself first.
That's a fact.
And I've noticed that in my other past relationships, I tried my hardest to make the other person happy, and no matter what, it didn't make me happy, and in turn, the other person wasn't happy because I was trying to make them happy. They're happy when you're happy, and that's what makes a happiness.
This isn't to say, I know where he's coming from, this isn't to say to just be a selfish asshole.
Yeah, no.
You have to come from like a neutral place where you yourself are comfortable with yourself, you know, you're in a good place to then be able to bring someone else into your life. You can't be in a bad spot and then, you know, hate yourself and like, or, you know, have shitty situations and just live to make the other person happy, because that, at the end of the day, it will not work out.
Yeah, you definitely can't try and fill your voids with someone else, because the other person's not perfect, so you're just gonna, I'm not saying you're gonna fill a void with emptiness, but you put someone in something bad, their bad's gonna come out.
Yeah.
I was listening to this lady talk how she wants her daughter to have a child because the daughter is easily depressed, so she wants the daughter to have somebody to like keep her occupied. And I'm like, wow, that is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because once the kid grows up or passes away, God forbid, or is just not around, it's just gonna be a whole emptiness again. You're just filling a void with something that's temporary. And I'm like, that is horrible advice that you're giving your child.
That's
You
what
can
dogs
see.
are for.
You can
That's what
see.
like pets and animals are for.
You
They're
can
like an unconditional,
Right.
loving creature. Another humans are complicated.
You can see where the logic behind that is, but it's like
It's just putting a band-aid over the issue.
it's
You're
not
not solving
foolproof.
anything.
It's not foolproof. What about you, Alfred? I know you've had some interesting moments with your past relationships. What are your thoughts?
No, like Ruben said, you literally just gotta be comfortable with yourself before you can be comfortable with anybody else. If you try to focus on other goals in the relationship, then you're not going to be focused on what legitimately makes you happy. Shit like moving out with them or getting married at some point or meeting their parents even. It all seems like a very huge leap, especially if you're very insecure. You just being comfortable with yourself will make everything literally a whole lot easier.
Yeah, you can't base your relationship on momentary occasions. Like when you get married, yeah, you'll be happy for a week, but it's the day to day that counts. It's like success. It's like success, or it's like anything. It's the day to day that counts. Yeah, when someone gets an award for an Oscar, they're obviously very happy, but they didn't just wake up the next day and they got an award. There was years that went into it. Years that go into a relationship. All the day to day stuff that counts.
Thanks.
So you can't go through the day to day. You're fucked.
To lighten up the mood, do you guys have any funny stories to tell the listeners or to share with ourselves?
Yikes.
Without saying names or.
I have to switch my mindset now too.
So one time when I was with this shorty back then, this was when I was in high school. No, I had graduated and she was still in high school. So I was 1 year ahead of her. So I got out of work early and she's like, oh, just come pick me up at school. So I did. And then we went to her place to smash. And when we were smashing, her mom came into the house. And it just so happens that her sister had died that day. So it was literally like the worst circumstances ever. And then,
Jesus.
yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
She's out here getting her organs rearranged just to find out that news.
Rearranged.
What? The mom's sister. So her aunt. Not.
Oh, I thought that.
No.
I was like.
But even still, it's just bad.
No, that is big.
So the mom was like, oh, you're obviously with somebody else, like, where is he? And I was like behind like this Chinese foldable wall thing, like just butt ass naked. Just trying to put my clothes on as fast as I can. And then we got the little consoling, like, oh, you can't be doing that or whatever. But
That's tough.
it was the worst luck ever.
Jeez.
Literally that.
Well, bad timing, huh?
Yeah.
I'm trying to come up with something myself too to see. I feel like I have some
It's just giving me anxiety.
On to the next one.
I have a funny story. It's pretty nasty, but I think this is funny. So
Watch your eyes again, because I almost touched my eye.
I remember once, this was in college, one of the girlfriends I used to have, we were in coitus, and we were doing, what was it? It was doggy style, so whatever, if you guys, I'm sure you guys know what it is.
So you were on your knees?
And, whatever, I'm just going to town, and I get a whiff of, like, a fart, and I'm like, damn, she must have farted. And then I just keep going, because, like, it happens. It happens to me sometimes, you're going so hard, you fart, and a little bait that comes out, like a little...
And after you fart, no.
And then, it smells kind of weird. And I'm just like, damn, this smells mad strong, what's good with this? And meanwhile, I'm just, like, going to town, I'm just like, so this smells weird. And I'm still, like, going in the morning, I'm, like, thinking to myself, and I'm like,
did I shower today? Shit.
did I fart? And then I look down, and there's just, like, a little piece of poop.
No!
There's just, like, a little piece of poop right on the butthole, and I was like, what the fuck?
This was some decent.
Oh my
And
god.
I literally just stopped, I was like, hold on, I grabbed the wipe,
And just kept going.
and she's like, oh, no, she actually got really embarrassed, so we stopped, but... Yo!
You took a fucking whip.
I was dying, I was actually laughing.
Yikes.
That shit was actually pretty funny.
Oh man.
It was weird.
That's interesting.
You gonna tell us something? Or?
I mean, what I have isn't really like funny, but of is, I was dating. I wasn't really dating this girl. We kind of came to an agreement that we were like, kind of like a friends with benefits type thing. And she was like very horny, like always DTF, doesn't matter where, which I was also into. But sometimes she took it to an extreme. Like
he was getting his asshole penetrated.
We'd take a bus to commute from
You got on top of the
school.
bus?
No. It was a shuttle. It was a shuttle bus to commute from campus to campus, and we like would sit together, whatever, we'd make out, hug, this and that. And one day I had a hole in my sweatpant pocket, and I never pushed it inside because obviously there's a hole. But she made that hole from like this big to like this big so she can fit her hand in there, and she started doing that shit to me. I'm just like,
Jesus Christ.
we're on the first row of that shuttle. Literally, the bus driver was like 2 feet right there.
Was ever trying making eye contact with you the whole time?
And she's over here doing that, like, get his fucking car, like, stop doing that. And she's right there going mad hard, and the bus driver keeps looking at the mirror, and I'm just like, looking mad sketch.
Wasn't me.
And I'm like, could you fucking stop? And then the bus driver keeps looking at the mirror, dude. And then, like, at any point, all the bus driver needed to do was like this, and then get the fuck out of the bus. Like, that's all she needed to do.
Oh, it was a female?
It was a female
Yikes.
bus driver. And so that happened or whatever. And then, sometimes she'd come over and, we'd smash. And there was one point that we smashed after Netflix and whatever. And I started doing like a home workout afterwards. And before that, she's like, I'm gonna go to sleep. If you want, like at any point, even if I'm sleeping, like you can just have sex with me while I'm sleeping. And I'm just like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, like, just stick your dick inside me while I'm sleeping. I'm like, I'm good. And then I just continued.
That's a case.
That's not weird.
And then I continued my workout. That was like the first red flag with me. And then
red flags. Did you end up collecting?
maybe like
This guy got a whole backpack of flags.
the whole like
Felix was reffing with those flags.
the whole relationship maybe lasted a month. So like maybe a week and a half after that, she asked me, she's like, oh yeah, like, can I move in?
Oh my god.
And I'm just like, second red flag, I'm not gonna wait for the third, we're like ending this right now. So we ended up just continuing. Fast forward to the present, my nephew goes to a private school here in the city.
Is his name Clarence?
No. And sometimes I had to pick him up. So I go pick him up, and they usually go to the cars and tell you like, oh, what child are you here for? So I pull up, the lady walks up to me, and I look at her, I don't even recognize her, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here for my nephew, it's his name. She's like, okay. She goes from like smiling, like she's approaching the car, she's smiling, and as she's approaching the car, she gets to see my face, she like puts on a bitch face. And the whole time it's not clicking to me, like, ooh, like why this bitch is mad sour. I recognize after my nephew gets in that that's the same chick that I was like, you need to get out, like you need to stop, we're done. And yeah, so I see her every so often when I pick up my nephew. That's one of my
That's actually funny. I see a lot of people that I used to think were mad hot all the time in Lawrence, like around like that. I'm like, damn, I wonder if they remember me.
Yeah. She clearly held that like back of her head.
Yeah, she's still salty about that shit.
Let's get on to these wings.
Finally onto the salt one. I kind of want to weight it down a little bit because.
Are we gonna?
Oh, I am. I'm really
Final dabs.
I'm putting that shit out.
Last dab. We're doing a last dab. Let's do it. Fuck it.
Dibs on the fattest one.
This one.
I'm in there.
That's
Okay,
fucking
that's solid.
the final fucking drizzle. The last drizzle, nigga.
That's
Damn.
a fact.
Let's do a cross. Just,
I think the last one's a little bit more, so
Just-
put some more.
just so we can pray a little bit after.
Ooh, some bands.
Oh my god, Alfred, espérate, what are you doing?
We
This
didn't
is not
even-
enough.
We
Alright.
didn't even get into detail about this one.
Facts.
This one,
It's unknown.
yet again, we went to the same place,
Shout-
I just smelled that shit and I'm like,
Pepper's Palace. It's called Mr. Payne, and on the bottle you see an executioner smiling. So he's a little masochist with an axe. If that doesn't say yikes, I don't know what does. The main pepper that's used. is a habanero pepper. Knowing that the last one also had a habanero pepper and this is like very spicy, I want to say that this is probably on higher end of heat.
When I asked for this, I specifically asked for a really hot sauce, so
Just,
I went to that one.
just something that hurts and doesn't even taste good.
I don't know, I guess we'll see. It smells very vinegary.
Yeah, there's definitely vinegar in this shit.
Don't be smacking shit up. Scoop that shit up.
It's not even a baby.
I'm using bitches. I'm just sipping water and shit. I haven't even touched mine.
I have a reason
Stop,
for my
man.
sipping.
Alright, here we go.
So are we doing the whole thing?
Without
Yo,
further ado,
I'm scooping this shit up here, I'm just saying.
so our last night.
Are we gonna like?
We in this.
Oh yeah. So, what do you guys?
Yikes, I see mad seeds in this.
The way I eat.
Yikes.
Felix would be.
Yo,
Yo, the way I eat wings is I split the bone like this,
I ain't doing that.
and then
maybe.
I eat one, and then I eat the other.
He looks like he's struggling. I'm just gonna. I couldn't do it.
This one's a very big.
Oh, it actually doesn't taste bad.
Doesn't taste bad, but
Oh, shit.
I'm actually drinking water for the first time. Look.
I just got uppercutted.
It hasn't. I don't know. I don't think it's that hot. It's like hot. Oh.
Oh,
It's ramping up
That's just a
now.
late bloomer, dog.
It's ramping up now.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's still at the same level. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Mmm.
The sauce tastes good, though.
It's definitely a good tasting sauce, but after that, it's just pure heat. Jesus Santísimo, madre mía.
Oh, shit, that shit got worse so fast.
Yeah, you guys are talking shit over here.
Yeah, I got hot.
Oh, fuck.
My mouth hurts.
Mmm. Aye. Oh.
Aye.
Yo, I can't speak.
Alright, next question. Next question.
Good question, man.
Know what you guys know about marijuana. What are your thoughts and opinion on it in terms of medical, financial, self-medication?
Marijuana 10 out of 10 for taxes.
Yo.
Very good to keep moving money. Very good to keep money moving.
I think there's like curdling milk out of drink.
Hold on. Dude.
I need to put chapstick. Cool.
Dude.
What about you, dog?
So,
This is painful. I'm gonna get the ice cream.
I'm a big pot.
Sure.
So, I think. Yo.
If I throw it and speak.
I forgot what the fuck I was gonna say.
You're a big pothead.
We're all guinea pigs with this shit.
Where are the spoons?
Right down the first
don't
drawer.
be
Second
attached to
drawer.
like any vapes or shit like that because obviously that's just killing niggas out here. But I'm a big pothead myself.
Which one's yours?
Take whichever one you want. Alfred, you want?
I think it's good for
Africa can't even form a sentence.
facts. I was excited for this question too because I want to talk about it, but I can't even right now. Let me get a spoon of that shit.
Mind you, Alfred's lactose intolerant.
Facts.
And
This
he's-
is a bad idea.
Don't chew on it. Just literally keep it in your mouth. Don't swallow it.
I just scratched my eye. My knuckle.
Alright, what are you saying?
Definitely.
You're a pothead? You said you're a pothead like 6 times?
And that it kills niggas.
Hello?
I don't even want to drink. I just want to submerge my lips into it. It's good on all aspects, for financial, medical, and recreational. There's some niggas that don't want to go to the doctors even though they know that shit helps for them. At the same time, you need to be careful with that shit because it is a drug and it is like stepping into another world. You need to be comfortable with yourself normally and when you're high.
Yeah.
I think you hit good points there.
So, what are your worst experience with it? Both of you?
We got crossfaded once at UMass, and I puked all over the deck. And I don't remember what
Hold up, I gotta know that.
Crossfading is when you're drunk and high at the same time, drinking champagne on the airplane.
I literally woke up. I remember throwing up. Someone was scratching my back. Sorry. Someone was rubbing my back as I was puking. And then I remember waking up.
It's probably me or Derek.
No, you weren't there.
Oh, rip.
One of my worst experiences,
I'm trying to get dick.
I smoked off an apple.
when I got hella angry. What?
I smoked off an apple that day.
Yo, give me some more of that shit.
Get that big ass jar shit.
Oh shit, that shit's hot.
Yo, it's still going.
It hurts.
This ice cream definitely does it.
My lips are on fire.
We were not expecting. Well, I was kind of anticipating, but shit.
I know it was gonna be hot, but I didn't think it was gonna be this painful hot.
Excuse me.
So one of the worst experiences I had mad anxiety when I was in California one time because me and my boy Fidel, our boy Fidel, we're going to a racetrack in Long Beach, but we were staying in LA. So to get from LA to Long Beach, downtown LA, you need to go through Compton. And I was high as fuck. I had smoked and had an edible. And then we were just going down through Compton Boulevard, like Main Street. I was looking down all these alleys and shit. And I'm like, yo, this nigga's out here just in these alleys just chilling. And I'm like, yo, we're in a bright freaking red ass car. I'm like, yo, I ain't trying to attract any wrong shit. Like obviously I was being a little bit crazy just because I was high. But
I mean, Compton's Compton. No matter how, like Kendrick said, Compton's the only place in the world where you can get shot in front of $1 million property.
it's probably facts. So I had anxiety at that time.
I had a funny time. I ate an edible. This was the first time I ate an edible and actually did something to me. It was out in Seattle. And I was at a school conference. I'm not gonna say what school I was with. But I was at a school conference and we had this dinner with like the person who's basically in charge of everything. Very, very important person. And me and I needed an edible before we got there. And we're like, yeah, this edible's kind of not working. We both took a half. My bad. I just
The heat.
I don't like talking in my mouth. My fault.
No, you're
But I
good.
know you can't hear.
Conference.
We both ate half a piece. It was literally like 3 milligrams or something. I'm like, damn, this doesn't do anything. So before we left, we're like, fuck it, let's just each take one whole one. Bro, we were sitting there and we're like, damn, nothing is still not hitting us. We were sitting there at the dinner table and I literally felt like someone was tickling my toes and then tickling my legs and coming up, and it was like coming in and then coming out. And the first time it hit me, I was like, whoa. And I was like, I looked at Manny, and Manny had the same exact look on his face. And I was like, what's happening? Yo, and then tell me how like 2 minutes after that, it was like waving in and out, in and out. Then like 5 minutes after that, we had to go around the table and talk about the conference. And since I was the president of the organization, I had to go first. Bro, it was so hard to speak. I was struggling. I was actually struggling. Like, cause I just wanted to laugh so bad.
That's crazy, man. I wouldn't be able to manage some shit like that, bro. I'd either just burst out laughing for no goddamn reason, or like, I'll constantly ask, did that make sense? I got this thing where I speak, and I speak fine, like, you know, I'm forming sentences and stuff, but then I like
Like when
replay
you
it.
baked.
Yeah, when I'm baked, and then I replay it in my head, and then I'm like, wait, that didn't make sense, and then I'll just ask, did that make sense? And I'm like, yeah, yes.
Hi, my name's Felix. Does that make sense?
Well, actually, I'm not a fan of baked now anymore.
Yeah, I don't have.
I get really bad pains on my teeth.
I get a.
It's very weird, yes.
It's weird because I get a tingle on my teeth, and that's usually how I know that I'm like high.
It hurts a lot, and I get really bad headaches the day after. And I honestly don't know why.
That's crazy.
But it didn't happen at first, when I first did it. I've
Was
only
it-
smoked
was
a
it
handful of times.
I was gonna say, was it from smoking or from edibles?
Smoking.
Oh.
I've only smoked a handful of times, so maybe like definitely less than 15 times in my life. Maybe even less than that, like 10 times max. But every time, after like the third time, my teeth just hurt so much, and it's actually painful to be high. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Edibles are a funny experience because you're kind of waiting for it, but it hits you when you don't expect it. Dude, I'll like eat something, a candy or whatever, and then I'm just waiting for it to happen, and then 40 minutes later it'll just, oh shit, what the fuck?
Edible high is better than actually smoking high.
What?
Yeah.
It's more relaxing. It's just like a regular.
Well, that's
It's
kind of
kind
my
of
smoke. Even so, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I like indicas or I like sativas," but there's even within that branch, there's so many different.
It'll probably be the type of edible I ate.
It comes down to like the terpenes, without getting too scientific, which is how it literally makes you feel. Because I can have a sativa that makes me feel like an indica. It just literally, with the chemical makeup of the plant itself, the heritage doesn't always matter. It's a good
Like base.
knowledge type.
Just like for general.
Right.
This
But it's
usually
not
does
always.
this usually does that.
Right.
I feel that.
Alright, the last question I want to ask is,
Fucking taste.
Do you want more?
I guess so.
knowing you kind of have a very analytical, I can't fucking speak because my tongue is numb, way, analytical way of like thinking about things. You always think of how to make certain things better, and being one of our most loyal listeners, what are some things that you think we should work on to make this podcast a better experience for people, either content-wise or production-wise and stuff like that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
You don't know?
Nah, I don't know because I don't have any success on making any.
No, but
like
even just as
longevity wise.
even as a listener.
As a listener, I think it's great. I like it. I have a ball.
Yeah.
You guys should definitely keep up with the fake ads, the fake sponsors. That shit's actually hilarious.
We
You
had,
should keep all the old ones too. Like just
Replay them.
recycle them in. Not all the time, but keep the sound files.
Yeah.
We have some quality ones. And then
We actually have a new one that we did for last week's episode. I don't know if you listened to the episode, but
nah, dude, I haven't had time.
nah, I feel that. Just kidding. Yeah, that shit's still creeping.
My lips are just like on fire.
Mine is
Like my mouth
I'm
is
actually
good.
kind of good now.
It's just my lips.
I'm coming down, but my lips and my tongue are like numb.
And then just like you said earlier, just be yourself. Be true to yourself because when if say you grow up, you can't do it if you're faking it.
Yeah.
Some people can, but they go crazy.
It's a lot of stress, extra stress. It's like forcing yourself to not be you.
Mm-hmm. But over time, you get better. You start realizing things that are going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first made my first YouTube video, I looked like a fucking robot. And then now I can actually move.
Yeah.
Just literally, I actually move.
Yeah.
Every time I think of like,
This isn't helping, but I keep doing it.
every time I think of something like this, or you're starting out new, and progress and change, I kind of think of. I always think of like C9ers. Remember his first videos? His very first videos.
Yes.
Very like laid back, kind of
Card 4.
borderline, kind of like boring in a way, but it was still entertaining because of what he was
That's
saying.
what it was. It's a perfect way to explain it.
But then, as he grew, not only with his editing, gameplay, and even content of what he was speaking and how he was saying it, would change to be more entertaining and more, higher quality.
He literally went from just like preaching in videos
Yeah.
to having like funny ass, random ass things, and they were both great.
Yeah.
They were both great. I love
Yeah.
them. He's still to this day one of my favorites.
I looked a couple months back, and he hasn't put up a video on YouTube for over like a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's actually.
He's doing like real estate, isn't he?
Thinking about that, yeah, he's doing real estate, and the only reason why I know is because I still follow Hutch.
That's
Which
right.
is one of his like closest friends in like the YouTube community, and he's doing real estate in Texas actually.
Real estate is
so
awesome.
he moved. I think he moved from California to Texas, and he's kind of like stepped down from YouTube, but he's still
with Hutch sometimes on
yeah,
live streams.
he'll get
he
on
does.
Hutch with
Mhm.
with his live stream, and he might come back and just do streaming, just when he can, because I know that doing real estate and stuff does take up a lot of time.
I think he's going for the longevity game.
Yeah,
I'm sure he made a bunch of money, but
it's
Also,
less stressful too.
It's stress. Yeah, if it's stressful, YouTube entertaining people is hard.
Not only YouTube too, but when he worked at Machinima, they used to go under a lot of stress.
sure, and they don't get a percentage.
And they would always talk about it afterwards. Yeah, like Machinima will basically.
He was the first one to leave.
They would deep dish them, with
They were digging them down and taking their money.
Yeah,
Was he the first one to leave? Was it Hutch?
I think it was Hutch. I think it was
Right.
Hutch.
I think it was Hutch as well.
Yeah, and
I watch Hutch now too,
I remember a video that they were all. It was him, Mr. Stark, and Hutch, and I
It's
forgot
in the
what
middle of the street, right?
I forgot what the content was, but Sark slaps Hutch, or Hutch slaps Sark, and that shit was mad funny. You just see Cena's and he's like, like it was clearly not scripted. The reaction was funny.
Yeah, but I guess analytically, I can't really tell you. I don't know. I haven't seen your analytics. I don't know if you guys can see like your views and who watches it, what platform watches it.
Yeah.
I know when I try and look at my YouTube videos, obviously I focus more on the content itself.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I'm making good content, I think the video is worth it. But I also want to make sure that people, I think I spoke about this last time, people watch my whole video.
Mm-hmm.
So the most important analytic or statistic I look at is my average view time. The higher that number is, the better it is for me, because that means that the people that do find my videos, they're actually finding it worth their while enough to watch it. So it doesn't really matter if I get 50 views or 500,000 views.
If they only watch for like a minute.
Yeah, if I have 500,000 views and they only watch for a minute,
That sucks.
like what's the whole point of me making a 10-minute video,
So I think now that we've calmed down, it's a good way to. Before that, let's talk about which one was our favorite in terms of flavor, heat, and maybe experience. Experience being like, what you felt and whatnot.
I can say my least favorite was Tabasco.
Regardless, his least favorite was Tabasco.
I use Frank's all the time, so maybe I'm just like numb to the flavor at this point. But I think it's between these two, and I'm gonna give it to this one just because the sweetness on that one kind of killed most of the heat.
Yeah.
And this one has like a nice smoky garlicky flavor. I like it.
What would be your runner-up? If that wasn't
It would be that
available, that one? Okay. And then your least favorite was Tabasco?
Yeah. That's just crazy. It tastes good though.
Yeah, it actually has a good flavor before it fucks you.
And like it gives you a good 10 seconds to enjoy.
So it's like she looks mad good until you take her to bed, and then she's the one fucking you because she has a dick.
You should watch the video of DJ, what's his name? Cass NY? The guy that made Scooby-Doo Papa?
I guess, I don't know.
DJ Cass, whatever. Dude, he has a video where he's on IG Live, and there's this, woman, she's, nude on the bed, but she's, in an angle where you can't really, see anything. And he's like, yeah, bro. He's, looking at her, and he's like, ¿Y dónde tú estás? And the girl's, smiling, covering her face, kind of doing this shit. And then she goes,
Oh, I think I've seen this
she
actually.
goes, yo estoy, blah, blah. She says some shit like that. And then he goes, ay, Dios mío. And then he just closes the stream. He hangs up on her, and he's still on the stream, and he turns around and says, ay, Dios mío. And he just walks out, and he's just screaming that nonstop. That video is so fucking
I
fun.
haven't seen that one.
Okay, so for me, the best one I think is this one. It had good level of heat as well as flavor. I think this one would have gotten it.
For the podcast listeners, just say what they are. I think
Okay, yes.
My bad.
So,
me and Felix's favorite was
Doc Habanero.
That one's actually worth.
Yeah.
Worth.
If the pineapple serrano one was a little bit more spicy.
I think it would have gone to crown.
I think it would have, yeah. I personally kind of like that sweet heat experience. In terms of experience overall with how, like, eating it, getting a good kick as well as
Is this your masochist rating?
yeah, essentially. I think I might give it to the Red Hot.
I'd agree.
Because Frank's Red Hot was very
It's to the point. Like it's good.
like it was just straight up like spicy, you know.
Like,
It was
here I am
spicy.
and it tastes good.
The Doc Habanero was a lot of flavor, but it also had heat to it. My worst experience was clearly Mr. Payne.
Yeah,
Mr. Payne, that shit. You literally think that it's not much for like 10 seconds.
I honestly thought it wasn't that serious.
That's why when I ate it first. You guys will see this in the video. I ate it first, I dropped it, and then these guys started eating it, and I was already like coughing, and they're like, "No, it's not that bad."
Yeah, I was like, this is exaggerating.
My mouth was watering, and I couldn't speak, but I was like, I was trying to tell them that just wait a little bit, just wait a
It's a
little
good
bit.
10 seconds before you get smacked.
I think for me, I'd say my favorite one was the Doc Habanero. That one has a really good flavor. Runner up, definitely gonna go to this bad boy right here,
Frank's
Red Hot. I've never had it before, so maybe that's why
really?
it's hitting me good. It's like one of those things that's just very simple and plain, but very very good, like a good slice of cheese pizza.
Mm-hmm.
A PB&J.
A good PB&J.
A good hot sauce that won't go wrong. You can't
Yeah,
go wrong with.
really good. And
Frank's Red
then
Hot.
the worst one, I honestly enjoyed all of them. Actually, I'm not a fan of Tabasco, but the wings with the Tabasco wasn't bad.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about Tabasco sauce as a wing sauce is that it's very watery.
Yeah.
So if you notice,
Yeah.
the first hot was a
It was
little
like
bit
nice
thicker,
coated and
nicely coated. Where these wings, they kind of look regular. There wasn't like I don't know, didn't have that thick consistency. I'm sure there's a way to make it
That's true.
thicker,
that's
either
true.
by adding like starch or some shit. But that's that's more work to do it.
Should be done at the factory.
The worst experience was Mr. Payne.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that it's my least favorite one, but it was the worst experience because it was so painful. Or the best experience, depending
I
on
think
your
the best, like that would be bomb in like a chili. You just put a couple drops in it and then you're good.
Yes.
But
Yes, because it does have a good flavor to it. And then it gives you that kick.
Yeah. So that basically will conclude this episode, this very special episode of the Go Flex Yourself podcast. You guys already know, sit back, go flex yourself.
peace.
Later.
Yeah.
Later, bitch.
Later.
Sorry, not to wash dishes.
Oh, bro, when I scoop that shit up, I'm like,